Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, today we're getting into something really practical. BJ Fogg's Tiny Habits.
Yeah, it's this idea about making changes stick, but, well, without that huge reliance on willpower we always hear about.
Right, forget the big battles.
Yeah.
This is all about starting incredibly small, like almost laughably small sometimes.
Exactly. And we're going to dive into how those tiny little steps can actually lead to pretty significant results down the line.
Because the whole approach, it's based on, behavioral science,
Yeah.
right? It understands we don't have unlimited willpower.
That's the core of it. It works with how we're wired, using things like existing routines and positive feelings rather than just brute force.
Okay, so let's break that down. The main thing seems to be make the new habit super, super easy.
Almost effortless.
And then crucially, you attach it, like piggyback it onto something you already do every day without thinking. Your anchor habit.
Yeah, that's the formula, pretty much. Behavior, motivation, ability, prompt. Fogg calls it the BMAP model. Tiny Habits focuses hard on the ability part, making it easy.
Lower the barrier so much, there's just no real reason not to do it.
Right. You sidestep that mental block, that feeling of, I don't want to. It just flows more naturally from what you were already doing.
Okay, let's make it concrete. Say you want to start flossing regularly. That's a classic way.
Classic struggle, yeah.
So instead of floss all your teeth every night, what does Tiny Habits suggest?
It might be. After I brush my teeth tonight, I will floss just one tooth.
One tooth? Seriously?
Seriously. One tooth. It sounds tiny, almost pointless maybe, but the chances of you actually doing it are incredibly high.
And it's anchored, right?
Right.
After brushing, that's the prompt, the trigger.
Exactly. The existing habit, brushing, becomes the reminder to do the tiny new thing.
Okay, here's the bit I find really interesting, the focus on emotion. Feeling good after you do the tiny thing.
Yes, this is key. It's not about gritting your teeth through it. It's about creating a little moment of self-congratulation, a win.
Like a little internal high five?
Sort of. Fogg calls it shine. That positive emotion tells your brain, hey, that was good, let's do that again. It wires the habit in much faster than discipline alone.
Because our brains chase good feelings. Makes sense.
Precisely. We're wired to repeat what feels rewarding. So even a tiny success, celebrated, reinforces the behavior powerfully.
So you're building momentum, not with huge leaps, but with these consistent, tiny positive steps.
Absolutely. Each little win builds your confidence. You start feeling like someone who does this new thing.
And presumably, flossing one tooth might eventually feel, well, easy. And maybe you naturally start doing 2 or 3.
That's often what happens. The habit grows organically without a big stressful decision point. It expands because it can, because the foundation is solid and positive.
Okay, so thinking about the mission here, helping you, the listener, use this to reach goals without getting swamped.
Yeah.
It sounds like step 1 is just identify that smallest possible first action.
Yep. Design for ease. Find the tiniest version, hook it to a solid routine you already have.
And then don't forget this part, actually celebrate doing it. Acknowledge the win.
That feeling is what fuels the growth.
So let's recap the essentials for everyone listening. First, start tiny, like ridiculously tiny.
Okay. Second, anchor it. Link that tiny action immediately after a reliable existing routine. The routine acts as the trigger.
And third, celebrate immediately. Feel good about it. Create that positive spark.
It's about focusing on the success, however small, not the distance you still have to go. That positive reinforcement cycle is, well, it's powerful.
And remember, the idea is these tiny habits aren't necessarily the end goal. They're the starting point, the easy entry.
Exactly. They can naturally grow into bigger habits over time, often without much conscious effort or stress because you've built the foundation.
Right. It lowers the pressure and actually makes lasting change more likely.
Definitely.
Okay, so final thought for you listening. Think about one thing, just one small thing, you've wanted to integrate into your routine. What's the absolute bare minimum, tiniest version of that you could possibly do? Seriously tiny. And what habit do you already have that you could stick it right after?
Find that anchor.
Find that anchor. Do that tiny thing and give yourself a little credit. That's your starting block. Thanks for diving deep with us today.